It's 9 o'clock.
Vancouver's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is News 1130.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, September 14th. I'm Terry Shims.
And I'm Curtis Doring. 14 degrees, cloudy, rain on the way in Vancouver. And here's what's making news right now.
The new COVID vaccine mandate for all healthcare workers in BC comes with questions from one of the province's biggest unions, which says some members are frustrated.
We've always known Metro Vancouver is a perilous place for tenants, but new research suggests we're the worst in the country when it comes to evictions.
Police tape has gone up around the home of a missing mom and teacher out of Langley.
With the election just days away, Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole will join us shortly here on News 1130.
A wild finish in the Monday Nighter and huge wins for the Mariners and Blue Jays. Sports at 15.
We've still got arrows pointing in both directions on markets, on muted inflation in the U.S., and oil is higher again because of another hurricane. Business at 26.
It's 9:01.
Let's head on over to the traffic center. Very good morning to Ryan Littemark.
Morning, Terry. And you can definitely tell that traffic's back the last week and a half or so. Langley, they cleared up that collision westbound Highway 1 just past 264th. Still busy from Abbotsford, from Mount Lehman. Richmond, they cleared up that collision 91 westbound just west of Westminster Highway, and that's backing up still from the Alex Fraser Bridge. If you want to use the Massey Tunnel, counterflow is moving traffic northbound at a good pace. And BC Ferries, Tsawwassen Swartz Bay, the 10's almost sold out. Tsawwassen Duke Point 10:15 is 85% full. Traffic's brought to you by Jim Pattison Subaru North Shore. Lease or finance the new 2021 Crosstrek from 0.5%. Purchase your next Subaru online at jpsubarunorthshore.com.
Now in the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center, very good morning to News 1130 meteorologist Michael Coos.
Harry, great morning, and it looks like this is going to be the best part of the day this morning that has been, yes, overcast, but dry so far. The wet weather, it's coming in, should be here shortly up toward the North Shore into West Vancouver, if not there already. But the blanket of moisture is not going to be here until a little bit later in the morning, 10 to 11. We'll see some of that wet weather along the coast for sure, farther inland. In fact, we're starting to see some of the wet weather just poking in along the coast. So it should be filling in this hour across the area and then lingering into the afternoon as well. Your daytime temperatures only up to about 15 degrees or hovering near 15. We're pretty close to that now. Drops down to 11 through the overnight. Tomorrow it's partly sunny, dries out through the day, clears up partially. 17 degrees the daytime high. Thursday it's mainly sunny with a high of 18 degrees. But right now in Steveston it's 14 degrees. We're at 14 in North Vancouver with a mainly cloudy sky. Your daytime high up to 15.
The time is 9:03.
Now that healthcare workers in the province have been given until October 26th to be vaccinated against COVID, one of BC's biggest unions says its members have questions and concerns.
News 1130's Mike Lloyd is here with more. And Mike, the union is not coming out against the public health order, but it is talking about exemptions.
Yeah, specifically, clarity around how legitimate requests for exemption from the vaccine mandate will be dealt with. Stephanie Smith is president of the BCGEU, which represents thousands of workers in healthcare. She says her members have questions.
You know, the more clear these orders are, the far easier it is, I think, for people to first of all, to follow them and to make sure they're in compliance.
The president of Doctors of BC, Dr. Matthew Chow, says his members support the new vaccine mandate.
Of course, as we all, as healthcare workers, deal with vulnerable individuals, any measures that can be taken that increase our mutual safety, including mandatory vaccinations as well.
Provincial Health Officer Dr. Bonnie Henry has said that getting the COVID shot will be a condition of employment for all healthcare workers in BC, adding to the mandate for those working in long-term care who need to be immunized by mid-October. She says she had heard the concerns about long-term care workers jumping ship and applying to hospitals to avoid vaccination, but that's no longer an option. I'm Mike Lloyd.
Many of us in Metro Vancouver have faced the threat of eviction, or at the very least someone who has. News 1130's Martin McMahon reports there's some suggestion here in a new report. It goes well beyond anecdotes.
UBC is out with a new study indicating our region claims what you might call the golden boot when it comes to evictions, coming in at #1 in the country. How bad is it? Well, there's a 10.5% eviction rate over a 5-year period examined in this research, compared with 6% in Toronto, for example. While similar studies in the U.S. have suggested a link between ethnicity and eviction, this study suggests that connection isn't quite as clear in our country. though there is some evidence Indigenous renters are at higher risk of eviction than other tenants. I'm Martin McMahon.
Well, have investigators found something in connection with the disappearance of a Langley mom? The RCMP not talking yet, but police tape does now surround the home of Naomi Onotera. The Mounties say she hasn't been seen since she left her home near 200th Street and 50th Avenue on August 28th. Yesterday, the RCMP released a photo of Onotera's white Subaru Crosstrek, hoping someone may remember seeing it late last month.
Federal party leaders are ramping up their efforts to win your vote as new polling shows liberals and conservatives in a dead heat less than a week before Election Day.
3 new federal election polls out today, offering no clear frontrunner in this race that has less than a week left to go. A Leger poll, in collaboration with the Canadian Press, shows a complete deadlock between the Conservatives and the Liberals, tied with the support of 32% of decided voters, with the NDP in third place with 20%. We have 2 other polls, one from Angus Reid, another from The Signal for the Toronto Star, giving the Conservatives a slight edge, just slightly over the Liberals, followed by the NDP. I'm Jamie Pulfer.
News 1130 is giving you a chance to hear from the federal political leaders in the run-up to Election Day, and joining us live on the line, federal Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole. Good morning, Mr. O'Toole. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Terry. Thanks for having me.
Campaign into the final stretch. It is crunch time. How are you feeling about things? It's very close.
I'm feeling really good. We have a plan, Canada's recovery plan, that we launched on the first full day of the campaign, focused on jobs, accountability, mental health, being more prepared for a pandemic, and getting our finances into order. People are responding very well to it, including in British Columbia, and we have to decide, do we reward Mr. Trudeau for calling a $600 million election in a pandemic? Do we demand better in terms of ethics and these sorts of things? So that's going to be the question in the next few days, is who do you trust? And I think Mr. Trudeau has broken the trust of so many people, and it's time for change.
Now, you've used that line a couple of times, and I'd like to go beyond that. Quite suddenly, the campaign has taken on a bit of a stark, personal and negative tone, and some are suggesting you're spending more time attacking the real or perceived shortcomings of Trudeau than you are outlining how you will make our lives better. How do you respond to that?
Well, people haven't been paying attention to the race, Terry. I've had 30 days of talking about policies in our policy platform, Canada's recovery plan, that we want to do to get the country back on its feet, to help families, to fight the housing crisis in BC. It's been Mr. Trudeau that in the first week was caught by Twitter misleading people, the first time ever in Canadian political history. Miss Wilson-Raybould's book reminds us that he tried to force her to lie in the SNC-Lavalin scandal. He's been flailing around, making up things about me, thinking that he's still running against another leader 6 years ago. I've got a positive vision, but in the final week, I am inviting people to say, do you want to reward someone who's had constant ethical investigations, that launched the $600 million election just because he thought he could secure a majority? I think it's time for a change. I've got the plan and the track record, and it's a new Conservative Party that I want people to take a look at to secure our future.
We're seeing these anti-vax protests across the country. As you know, some of them have been targeting hospitals and healthcare centers. What is your message to those folks and to the healthcare workers and millions of Canadians who pay for and count on the healthcare system?
Well, the front lines of our healthcare system, the nurses, doctors, PSWs, techs, are our heroes. 18 months we've relied on them, and these protests, this harassment is completely unacceptable. We have a plan to actually make it illegal to blockade public institutions, things that are there for the public good, like hospitals. It's completely unacceptable, and I want the frontline healthcare workers to know that one part of our plan that we launched right on the first day of this fall campaign is a $60 billion once-in-a-generation investment in our public health system to help the provinces give relief to our frontlines who are fatigued, and to build up the system where we saw the gaps emerge in COVID-19. We have the most significant investment in public health in this election, and that will help our front line.
We have an issue with vaccination, despite the fact that the majority of Canadians are vaccinated. One of the protesters yesterday told our reporters, this is not real. This pandemic is not a real thing. How do you respond to people who share that view?
Well, I tell that person they're wrong. My wife and I had COVID-19. Right after I became leader in the second wave, we had COVID-19. It's why we were very public, and we released video of our vaccination process, why I worked with other leaders to promote vaccines. They're safe, effective, and they're critical in this fight. So what we need is a real discussion about COVID, how we can use vaccines, rapid testing, masking, distancing, how we can work together to fight this crisis. It's not the time for division. It's not the time for an election. It's the time to come together and rally behind beating COVID.
Going to move on to the housing crisis because there's lots of topics and not a lot of time. There is a housing crisis in Metro Vancouver, likely right across the country. An untold number of people, many through no fault of their own, have found themselves out of a home locally. You've got a plan here. You're talking about cracking down on foreign investment, creating over 1 million homes through various means over 3 years, I think it is. Realistically, how much of a dent will that put into that problem?
It will put a significant dent. As you know, Terry, the Lower Mainland is the epicenter of the housing crisis, and it's gotten worse over 6 years of Mr. Trudeau. It hasn't gotten better. And we've been actually proposing a ban on foreign non-resident buying for some time. Mr. Trudeau's fought against it. The 1% fee that they're putting in hasn't done anything. So that's one thing. We are going to free up federal lands. We're going to accelerate transit money, particularly where it can improve density. We're going to modernize mortgages, allow first-time buyers to have longer terms of interest rates. We're going to make it more easy for people to get first-time home buyer protection. What we have to do is the federal government has to play its role. The municipalities and the provinces do as well. But I'm not going to give up on a generation of Canadians that need to have the same ability to own their own home. And we have to make sure that we protect people's home equity. So Mr. Trudeau's team has been talking about taxing the primary resident home sale. We would never allow that to happen as a Conservative government.
BC government, as you know, Mr. O'Toole, has taken a number of measures to try and get the housing situation under control. But you could argue it's still as challenging as ever to try and find housing in Metro Vancouver. What would your plan do that is above and beyond what the province has already done?
Well, we're going to have 15% of federal land and holdings offered up for supply. That's something we can do directly. And we do want to accelerate approvals and building at both the municipal and provincial level. So we've said if you want to see infrastructure funds flow, let's partner to make sure transit investments, for example, accelerate more density. We also want to make sure, and we're incentivizing more building of purpose-built rental housing. This is another area that we don't see enough of. We see a rental housing crisis, not just purchasing of housing. So we need to do that, and part of what we're going to do is we're going to double the Canada. And where there's a housing crisis, a cost of living crisis, people at the lower income margins are underwater. And so we're doubling that Canada Workers Benefit. It's going to give thousands of dollars to families that are struggling. And we need to make sure that they have a strong economic recovery after COVID, and that's what our plan represents.
Climate change, a major issue for British Columbians, very important when you talk to British Columbians about what matters to them. For some in your party, a sensitive topic for sure. Experts say climate change is connected to the extreme weather we've seen out here on the West Coast. Lytton got up to, 49.6 degrees and then had that devastating fire. What is your message to British Columbians who perhaps suspect this is not something that is that important to your party?
Well, it is important, and another reason we shouldn't have had an election. The forest fires in BC, Mr. Trudeau completely ignored that when he called this election, and they are tied. Adverse weather events are tied to climate change. And Terry, we had to rebuild some trust on this issue. I've been very honest, which is why we put out our climate change plan in April. It prices carbon. It has a plan to meet our Paris commitments and to have a strong economic rebound after COVID. In fact, we partnered with a Vancouver climate change consultancy firm to make sure that we could have a serious and effective plan to lower our emissions. This is important to me as a father of young kids, and to make sure that we don't drive away jobs and investments. So our pricing of carbon, our low carbon savings account, our electric vehicle standard, our renewable natural gas standard, it's a very comprehensive plan, and I was in Vancouver on the weekend. It was very well received in the folks we were talking to.
We're very short on time, and we appreciate your time. If you win, and you could, what is the first thing you would do as Prime Minister?
We have to get people working again and get the million jobs we're pledging started. We also have to buttress up our healthcare system. So I've said in the first 100 days I would meet with the premiers and start this historic $60 billion 10-year investment to give our front lines relief, to help with long-term care and all the work provinces need to do. We have to work together to overcome COVID-19 and its aftermath, and that's what I will do as Prime Minister, bring people together, not drive them apart.
Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Terry.
Aaron O'Toole, Conservative leader, top headlines coming up.
Still checking your portfolio every day? There's a better way to invest. Speak to a financial advisor today and visit dynamic.ca/advice to learn more.
Hi, Keith here from Speedy Glass to tell you that sometimes even the best drivers are no match for rough roads, and a crack in your windshield can happen fast. Luckily, a cracked windshield is no match for my team and I at Speedy Glass. We use cutting-edge tools to quickly replace your windshield to the strictest standards so it remains structurally sound. And for added peace of mind, our work comes with a lifetime warranty, so don't let rough roads get the best of you. Book your appointment today at speedyglass.ca. Conditions apply. Details at speedyglass.ca.
Speedy Glass Replace.
Christine Caroline Estate Services, Vancouver's premier home clear-out service. Bonded, insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. When attention to details matter, visit ChristineCarolineEstateServices.com. Vancouver's news now. This is News 1130.
14 degrees, rain on the way in Vancouver. Good morning, I'm Terry Shins. Here's what's making news right now. BC government's announcing all healthcare workers will soon have to be vaccinated against COVID. Those who work in acute and community care must be vaccinated as of October 26th. We're hearing from some of the big BC unions this morning. Still to come with Bill Good, what is happening in Vancouver's downtown core?
A lot of people afraid to venture out at night. I'd say a lot of folks would like to see a greater police presence patrolling downtown, but the police are too busy responding to calls of violence.
It is 9:15. Time for News 1130 Sports from Sportsnet 650, home of the Canucks. Here is Caroline Frolick.
Well, the Blue Jays and Mariners are playing meaningful baseball in September. I love the sound of that. The Jays beating the Rays 8-1. The Mariners taking care of the Red Sox 5-4. As for the AL wildcard race, the Blue Jays are in sole possession of the top spot, a game up on the Yankees and the Red Sox. But actually, if we want to get technical, and in this case we do, Boston actually trailed the Yanks by a single percentage point for the final AL playoff spot. The Mariners still right in there, 2 games back. The A's 2.5. In football, Lions QB Michael Riley earning CFL Player of the Week honors after the Lions made the Red Blacks look silly at BC Place this weekend. In case you forgot, BC won 45-13. Riley went 22 of 26 for 319 yards and 4 touchdown passes. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/650.
The upcoming cold weather is unavoidable, but a furnace breakdown is definitely avoidable when you call Reliance Home Comfort. Right now, you can save big on a new furnace during the Reliance Home Comfort Early Bird Sale. For a limited time, get 25% off our featured furnace. It's the perfect way to save and help ensure your home is ready for winter. So if you're looking to avoid a breakdown and get a great furnace deal,
Call on Reliance.
Conditions apply. Savings off our regular price. See website for details.
To continue to access many events and businesses, proof of vaccination is required throughout BC starting September 13th. And the easiest way to show this proof is to get your BC vaccine card at gov.bc.ca/vaccine card. Just save your card to a mobile device or print it out. From there, simply show your BC vaccine card with your ID. Get your card today at gov.bc.ca/vaccine card. A message from the Government of British Columbia.
It sounds like Mayor Doug McCallum has had enough of some of his more vocal critics. Now he's banned them from council chambers. 7 members of Keep the RCMP in Surrey are threatening to sue the mayor.
The mayor claims those 7 individuals repeatedly disrupted council meetings in the past and will be able to submit written questions and comments instead of attending in person. Frank Buchholz is a longtime political watcher and columnist. He says while there's plenty of tension, banning people just isn't the answer.
Have open dialogue, not to attempt to ban people from speaking or ban them from attending the council chambers. I think there's got to be a pretty strong reason for that to happen. I know that there have been words exchanged is at such a level that, a move this draconian needs to take place.
This comes after McCallum and pro-RCMP protesters exchanged words at a Surrey grocery store earlier this month, where McCallum claims someone ran over his foot. I'm Tarnjeet Parmar.
Coming up in just over 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones. It is 9:20.
This is Vancouver's breaking news, traffic and weather station. News 1130.
Ken and Sean Mayhew of Penfolds.
It's the right time to have us install your new roof.
Book and finance with us and don't pay until fall 2022.
Call now and ask about the $5,000 rooftop solar panel grant.
PenfoldsRoofing.com. At Spence Diamonds, we're all about superior diamond quality.
On one hand, we have earth mine diamonds that provide exceptional rarity and beauty.
On the other hand, we have artisan-created diamonds that provide exceptional value and beauty. Both earth-mined and artisan-created options are brilliant when creating that perfect, one-of-a-kind engagement ring. And both guarantee to make a whole lot more than just her eyes sparkle.
You can say that again.
Both guarantee to make a whole lot more than just her eyes sparkle.
Spence Diamonds. Find us in Vancouver and Langley.
Yeah!
Modern interior design isn't a style, it's an attitude. Find the best hardwood, laminate, and vinyl in the world at The Globe, at Marine and Heather, and globalcarpets.ca.
Global Carpets and Hardwoods. The world at your feet.
9:21 to the traffic center we go. Here is Ryan Littemark.
Terry, a few things are going on. In Delta, there's a crash. Highway 99 northbound before the 17A exit in Delta, so the right lane blocked off, and a bit of a slowdown on the way to the Massey Tunnel. Alex Fraser Bridge is eased off. That earlier crash, 91 by Westminster Highway, is gone. Langley, there's a collision 264th, just north of 52nd Avenue. So 264th is partially blocked both ways. It's quite heavy in that area by the zoo. Any other problems, you can let us know hands-free, star 1130. The Canadian Cancer Society CIBC Run for the Cure is almost here. Join them at cibcrunforthecure.com and run or walk your way on October 3rd.
To the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center. We've got some rain coming pretty soon, it looks like. Here's News 1130 meteorologist Michael Koos in the 5-day forecast.
And Terry, I don't know if I hate to, but I have to inform you that, yes, the rain has arrived in some areas. Even around downtown, we have, it's spitting. It's dripping a little bit. We're seeing that on the North Shore, too, back toward the coast. The closer you are to the coast, the wetter it is. It's still not that wet yet, but we're into it now. The farther east, you can enjoy another half hour, 45 minutes, potentially around the Tri-Cities, definitely out into Abbotsford and beyond. But everywhere is going to be wet within an hour, I would say, at least lightly wet. Rain on the way through the mid-afternoon, lingering into at least the early part of the afternoon drive. Daytime temperatures up to 15 degrees, drops down to 11 overnight. Sky clears out tomorrow, warms up to 17. Thursday, it's mainly sunny and 18 degrees, but we're back to the wet weather for Friday. It's a lot wetter than today, or it looks like it will be. The high of 15 degrees and some on-off rain on the way for Saturday, so at least there's some off stretches through that Saturday. What we are looking at right now, it's mainly cloudy in Coquitlam, 14 degrees, raining lightly at UBC, and 15 degrees. The daytime temperature steady at 15.
This update is brought to you by Jim Pattison Toyota Surrey. Lease the new 2021 Corolla from 1.49% up to 60 months. Purchase your next Toyota online, jptoyotasurrey.com.
You already stream us on your smartphone and your tablet. But did you know you can also listen to News 1130 on a smart speaker? Now, we're giving you the chance to win your own smart speaker.
Listen for our streaming secret word weekdays between 7:30 and 8 a.m. and 4:30 and 5 p.m. And if you're already streaming us, listen for your in-stream bonus word. for another chance to win.
It's the News 1130 Streaming Secret Contest. Full details at citynews1130.com.
More space tourists are heading for the trip of their life tomorrow.
A Falcon 9 rocket will boost a Crew Dragon capsule with 4 civilians on board to a planned 360-mile high orbit, 100 miles above the International Space Station for a 3-day journey. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk.
The reason I started SpaceX was to try to make the dream of space accessible to anyone.
The Inspiration 4 crew consists of fellow tech billionaire Jared Isaacman, who's believed to have paid SpaceX $200 million for himself and 3 crew members as part of his personal charity drive for St. Jude Children's Hospital. The launch window is set to open at 8 p.m. Wednesday. Tony Marino, ABC News, Orlando.
And now a minute with Bill Good on News 1130.
I wonder if Vancouver Mayor Kennedy Stewart is going to rue the day he alienated most of the Vancouver Police Department by alleging systemic racism or seeming to support the defund the police voices. Recently, a 26-year-old man was stabbed steps away from Pigeon Park, seriously injured. 3 hours later, a woman was stabbed in the same area. The next day, a woman at Main and East Cordova was stabbed in the hip, abdomen, and buttocks. Later that day, a woman and a man were stabbed in a social housing complex on the downtown east side. Davie Street merchants decry a string of broken windows, violence, damage. The list goes on. Not many years ago, people in Vancouver were proud of the fact that the city had become a jewel, proof that you could build a livable, vibrant downtown where people love to live, close to jobs, vibrant shopping, great restaurants. Not so much today. A lot of people afraid to venture out at night. I'd say a lot of folks would like to see a greater police presence patrolling downtown, but the police are too busy responding to calls of violence. Police run off their feet, not able to respond quickly. We have an opioid crisis, but we also have an out-of-control drug and mental health crisis, and a city hall and mayor with no plan or strategy to deal with it. Sad to say. That's my opinion. I'm Bill Good, and you're listening to News 1130.
Volvo's legendary safety, Scandinavian craftsmanship, and intuitive technology, all designed for a driving experience like no other. All designed for you to discover. From September 24th to 27th, join us for an event like no other. Volvo's Discover Days, where you can finance a new model year 2021 Volvo from 1.9% and save up to $3,500. Experience just how luxurious the road can be during Volvo's Discover Days. Conditions apply. Visit your local Lower Mainland Volvo retailer or volvocars.ca.
Pay a little, take a little. A Capital Direct Flexi line allows you to take only what you need when you want it. Think of it as secure lending for life's little ups and downs. As cash comes in from commissions or operations, or you need to purchase inventory, the Flexi line by Capital Direct gives you that financial peace of mind. Whether you need $50,000, $150,000, or $3 million, that cash is available to you as you go. Call Capital Direct today at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL.
CapitalDirect.ca.
Stuff and things cost a little more in the U.S. last month, but prices didn't spike as much as expected. There was a gain of 0.3% in August, the smallest monthly increase in 7 months. Over the past 12 months, prices jumped by 5.3%. That was slightly better than the 5.4% in the previous 2 months. Doug Porter is chief economist at the Bank of Montreal.
The thing I would point out, though, is that we've seen some really dramatic ups and downs this year. And to some extent, it isn't a complete shock that we get a bit of a downside surprise after having a run of incredibly hot numbers. And I would just point out that the bond market really didn't do a whole lot in the immediate aftermath of the CPI because there have been so many special factors this year. And I think they're keeping an open mind about whether, the storm is really passed or not.
Now, initially, markets moved higher, then lower, and now all are off their lows for the day. The Dow is still in the red. It's down 150. The S&P down by 5, and the NASDAQ higher by 32. Now, shares in Oracle await on Wall Street. That stock is down 3.5%. Big questions today on this company's sales after the software maker's latest earnings report. As one analyst puts it, a lack of disclosure on what's driving growth makes it tough to garner conviction going forward. The stock did get at least 3 upgrades today. The TSX down by 9, 20,656, thanks in part to the gold stocks. They are moving higher, with gold itself up by $13, $18.07. Oil is higher by 28 cents, $70.73. Torrential rain in Texas and Louisiana overnight with Hurricane Nicholas. It comes just a few weeks after Hurricane Ida forced oil producers and refineries to shut down. The Canadian dollar down 7/100, sitting at 79 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
How you work, where you work, even what you wear to work. You've been giving everything a second look. So why not take a second look at how you bank? Switch to the Scotiabank Ultimate Package and earn a $350 welcome bonus. Get a boost to your savings and an annual credit card fee waiver on select credit cards. The Ultimate Package. It's the ultimate in banking. Conditions apply. Visit scotiabank.com/ultimate350. Scotiabank.
Today is a new day. A day for exceptional capability. A day for uncompromising strength. A day for all-out power. It's the Ram Power Discount Day sales event, where every day is a chance to get up to $9,750 in discounts on select Ram 1500 Classic models, plus up to $3,000 in loyalty cash for select owners. Today is a new day, a day for a new truck. Talk to your Ram dealer for details.
This traveler's weather, dream to the max with Lotto Max. 2 draws a week means your dreams can build along with the jackpots. The next jackpot is $50 million plus 2 max millions. 19 plus to play.
Victoria tomorrow, mainly sunny and a high of 18. Kelowna, sun and cloud and a high of 14. News 11:30 time, 9:30.
Vancouver's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is News 1130.
Hi there, thanks so much for joining us. This is Tuesday, September 14th. I'm Peter Wagner.
And I'm Tim James in Vancouver. Cloudy and 14. Here's what's making news right now.
She's been missing for more than 2 weeks, and now police are outside her home. New details in the disappearance of Naomi Onatera.
We knew it was bad, but this bad, Metro Vancouver is #1 when it comes to evictions, according to new research from UBC.
It's a tight race, but Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole says he's feeling good about it. We'll have more from this morning's live interview.
Kids are already facing uncertain times, and a child psychologist says anti-vaccine protesters only have the ability to unnecessarily cast more doubt in their minds.
Lots of baseball talk coming up. The Mariners and Blue Jays with huge wins, and a former Vancouver Canadian knocking them down again. Sports at 45.
Another choppy session on Wall Street after U.S. inflation data comes in below expectations, and Bay Street is in the red, even with oil and gold higher. Business at 56.
It's 9:31.
Let's go to the traffic center now. Here's Ryan Littemark.
Peter, few things are on the go. In Delta, collision, Highway 99 northbound before the 17A exit. Left lane closed off, so it's super busy towards the Massey Tunnel. Also crashed in Delta, Cliveden exit from 91 northbound. Right lane blocked off there. Langley still has this crash on 264th north of 52nd Avenue, and it's just a mess right by the zoo. So 264th is crawling. Highway 1 much better to the Port Mann Bridge now. And there's a crash in Vancouver on Granville northbound at 46, and that's blocking off the right lane. Traffic is brought to you by Jim Pattison Chrysler Jeep Dodge. Finance select new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee models from 0% for up to 84 months. Purchase your next vehicle online at jpchrysler.com.
Now to the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center. Let's check in with meteorologist Michael Coos.
Light rain now stretching out to Burnaby and down into western parts of Surrey, South Delta, and then all the way down the coast. It's a wet late morning and into the early afternoon too. Scattered showers follow into the late afternoon and early parts of the evening, but it will be a little drier later in the day. Daytime temperatures up to around 15 degrees, drops down to 11 overnight. Tomorrow it's partly sunny through the afternoon. Nice little turnaround, gets up to about 17 degrees. Currently it is raining lightly in Marpolds, 15 degrees. It's 14 in North Vancouver. The daytime temperature steady at around 15.
This update is brought to you by City TV. On October 18th, News 1130 and City News come together to offer more ways to get you what you need to know whenever and wherever you need it. Learn more now at citynews1130.com.
It's 9:33.
Let's get to our top story. Police appear to be investigating the home of a Langley woman who went missing more than 2 weeks ago.
Now, News 1130's Lasha Kretzel joins us live with the latest on the case of Naomi Onatera. And Lasha, what more do we know at this point?
Not a whole lot, such as why RCMP have put that yellow tape up and why now. Several officers, including police dogs, appear to be searching the property late Monday night with flashlights, and by Tuesday morning, neighbors could see that tape up. Now, just yesterday, investigators were asking people to look at pictures of Onatera's white Subaru Crosstrek, hoping that someone might remember seeing it late last month before she was reported missing. Police say that teacher librarian was last seen by her husband leaving her home on August 28th. Now, she reportedly didn't leave with her car, but investigators hope that the photos can help them piece together a timeline of her actions that start on August 25th. Facebook groups with dozens of posts from people have been taking it upon themselves to search the surrounding areas around her home. Now, a photo of Onatera along with a description can be found on our website at citynews1130.com. Reporting live, I'm Lasha Kretzel.
It's not the kind of title anyone would really want to be associated with, but Metro Vancouver is now #1 when it comes to evictions. News 1130's Martin McMahon is looking at some brand new research out of UBC, which also looks at some other parts of the country.
First ever national study on evictions, putting hard numbers on something many of us locally have suspected for years. And it really seems we're blowing Toronto and Montreal out of the water on this. The eviction rate is 10.5% over a 5-year period for Metro Vancouver, as opposed to a range of 6 to 4% for those two cities. As for why this is the case, that's something that might require a bit more analysis. It's not looked at in this study. While reports in the U.S. have pointed to a connection between ethnicity and evictions, that link isn't as clear here, though there is some evidence Indigenous renters are evicted at higher rates. I'm Martin McMahon.
After a record-setting spring for home sales in BC, things have cooled down. The BC Real Estate Association says sales in August dropped more than 7% year over year, calling it a return to normal. With listings still way down, the average price of a home in our province last month was almost $902,000. That is up more than 17% compared to 1 year ago. Locally, August home prices were close to $1.2 million on average. That's up about 9% year on year.
9:36 now at News 1130. And the forecast for today, we are going to be longing for yesterday, that nice, beautiful afternoon sun. Tim, I know when I got home, I had a chance to take the dog on a nice long walk. It was pretty out. It was so perfect. But today, yes, rain. Michael Coos, our meteorologist, will be back with a check of the forecast here in less than 5 minutes.
Right now, downtown staying dry for at least the time being, cloudy and 14 degrees.
BC's wildfire situation continues to improve. Now 207 active wildfires in the province right now for those keeping tally at home. Fire Information Officer Taylor Coleman says the cooler, wetter weather, well, that certainly helped.
The weather's really been favorable for us over the last month and giving some reprieve to those crews out in the field and helping us get some success on the wildfires.
She says all out-of-province crews have left, so they're down to only BC Wildfire Service staff and contractors, many of whom are now returning to school and able to take some well-earned downtime. The wildfire season can continue into October, depending on when that heavy rain and snow starts up.
Over the course of the federal election, News 1130 has been speaking one-on-one with the three main party leaders. We've already spoken to the head of the NDP, and this morning we spoke with Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole. We asked him about the final stretch of the campaign and how he's feeling right now.
I'm feeling really good. We have a plan, Canada's recovery plan, that we launched on the first full day of the campaign, focused on jobs, accountability, mental health, being more prepared for a pandemic, and getting our finances into order. People are responding very well to it, including in British Columbia, and we have to decide, do we reward Mr. Trudeau for calling a $600 million election in a pandemic? Do we demand better in terms of ethics and these sorts of things? So that's going to be the question in the next few days, is who do you trust? And I think Mr. Trudeau has broken the trust of so many people, and it's time for change.
And we are posting the entire interview, if you'd like to listen, with O'Toole on our website, citynews1130.com.
Staying on the campaign trail, federal NDP leader Jagmeet Singh apologizing to the head of the BC Assembly of First Nations for not calling to address the organization's annual meeting.
That was a mistake, and I take responsibility. That should have happened. And I apologize directly to the chief, Grand Chief, my apologies, and I'm going to make sure we get this right.
The organization says it invited leaders of the three main federal parties to appear in person or digitally to address chiefs at the two-day meeting this week. Regional Chief Terry Teague feels the lack of response shows leaders are just paying lip service to Indigenous issues throughout the election campaign. Liberal leader Justin Trudeau, by the way, campaigning today in Richmond.
If you want a mail-in ballot, it is your final day to ask for one. These voting kits need to be received by Elections Canada on or before Monday. Now, Victoria is the riding where the most special ballots have been requested, more than 11,000. Across the country, just over 914,000 have been sent out. More than 53,000 kits have also been issued outside of the country.
Just about 9:39 now. After anti-vaccine protesters were seen outside of an Abbotsford school talking to kids about their messages, we're hearing from an expert about the detrimental impacts that kind of thing can have.
According to child psychologist Dr. Vanessa Lapointe, kids don't need division right now. They need adults to present a unified front that allows them to feel safe and secure.
When we have groups of adults who are really trying to create division and stir kids into questioning whether or not their grown-ups actually know what it is that they're doing, that's unsettling.
She says it's already been a tough go for kids in school as they continue to navigate the ups and downs and uncertainty of the ongoing pandemic.
And what we know for sure from the science of child development is that the anxious brain is not going to be available to learning.
Last week, a mother told us about her concerns after she said protesters were seen engaging directly with students, many of whom were not even their kids. I'm Haname Nassar.
And Elon Musk's SpaceX team is going back up into space this week, but this time the trip will be a little longer. The trip taking the untrained civilian crew around the Earth's orbit for 3 days. ABC News contributor and retired Marine Colonel Steve Ganyard says it could be a game changer for space travel in the future.
We're now going to make space reliable, routine, repeatable, and that's what's going to have to happen if we're going to colonize the moon and colonize Mars. I think that this flight will be a big step on the way to that journey.
And the SpaceX capsule is expected to launch Wednesday night from Cape Canaveral in Florida.
60 seconds away, we'll launch traffic and weather together on the ones. It's 9:40.
This is News 1130.
At Jim Pattison Hyundai Surrey during the factory-authorized clear-out event, lease or finance from 0% on select models. Their new pick price purchase program lets you browse inventory online, book at-home test drives, even buy your car online at jphyundaisurrey.com.
LG OLED TV Pixel number 361 lights up about artworks.
The painting on screen lights the space with a captivating fury. Strokes of vibrant yellow and red complement silky greens and aquamarines. Oh, such harmony and picture clarity. I'm drawn into a world of infinite contrast, twirling in delicate ribbons of color until inevitably I'm a bit dizzy.
Self-lit pixels have evolved. Light up your world with OLED at LG.ca. LG. Life's good.
My name is Jeffrey Presler, and I help people fight against insurance companies who have wrongly denied their claims. Call Presler Injury Lawyers at 1-800-JUSTICE for a free consultation. And remember, you don't pay unless you win.
9:41, let's head off to the traffic center. Hey, look, it's Ryan Littemark.
Well, Peter, it's still this crash in Delta, 99 northbound, just before the 17A exit. Left lane blocked off. It's not so good. Use the Alex Fraser Bridge instead. 91 is nice and clear now. Langley Aldergrove area, they're investigating a crash on 264th, just north of 52nd Avenue. So 264th is partially blocked off both ways. It's a mess. 264th backing up by the zoo, and Highway 1 is now eased off to the Port Mann Bridge. It's a good time to go. Join the virtual Run for Women, sponsored by the Love You at Shoppers Drug Mart program in support of women's mental health. Register today at shoppersdrugmart.ca.
Let's head over now to the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center on this rather gray day. Here's meteorologist Michael Coos.
Yeah, thanks so much. Here's what we're looking at, Peter. We are expecting to see that sun return, but not until tomorrow. It's a gray day. It's a gloomy day. It's a wet day now. The rain, it's along the coast, not out into the valley just yet, but it will get there quite quickly. In fact, we're looking at a wet tail end of the morning into the early afternoon. We're still looking at rain at 3 to 5 millimeters generally across the area. And not a bunch, but it's going to be lingering a little bit. This evening, still a few scattered showers around, not the widespread stuff. Drops from 15 degrees down to 11. Tomorrow, if we see showers, are pre-dawn into the afternoon. It's partly sunny with a high of 17 degrees. Thursday is mainly sunny with a high up to 18 degrees. It is raining at the airport. It's 14 degrees, mainly cloudy in Abbotsford, and 13 degrees the daytime high up to 15.
This update's brought to you by Jim Pattison Toyota North Shore. Lease the new 2021 Corolla from 1.49% up to 60 months. Purchase your next Toyota online, jptoyotanorthshore.com.
9:43, time for the Market Minute, brought to you by Dynamic Funds. Here's Chris McCusker.
We've still got arrows pointing in both directions, with markets well off their lows for the day. So right now, the NASDAQ is up 20 points. The S&P is down by 4. The Dow is lower by 150, and the TSX down 16 points, 20,650. The gold stocks moving higher on Bay Street. Gold itself up by $12, 18.06. Oil is higher for a third day. It's up 21 cents, $70.66. And the Canadian dollar down by 6/100, 79.01 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Let's head over to Sportsnet 650 now. Check in with Caroline Frolick. Still another day to be talking about, the old pastime baseball.
Well, and for good reason, because both the Mariners and the Blue Jays keep on winning and are right there in the thick of the playoff race. Sports in 60 seconds.
Are you on the sidelines when it comes to investing? A financial advisor can get you in the game. Visit dynamic.ca/advice to learn more.
Who knew that the hardest part of being an adult was figuring out what you were going to cook every night for the rest of your life?
Well, good food you can choose from 30 new, expertly curated, ready-to-cook recipes each week, using fresh, local ingredients and delivered directly to your door.
Hallelujah! Let's make good food, everyone.
Order meal kits and groceries at makegoodfood.ca. Certain conditions apply.
It's Smile Cookie Week at Tim Hortons. Every time you buy a cookie, 100% of proceeds go towards local charities and community groups, like food banks and hospitals. Grab one until September 19th and help spread smiles across your community at participating restaurants in Canada for a limited time.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is News 1130.
It's a gray 14 degrees in downtown Vancouver. Good morning. Thanks for making time for us today. I'm Peter Wagner. Here's what's making news right now. Police tape is up at the home of a Langley woman missing since late last month. But at this hour, police are mum on what they're doing at Naomi Onatera's home. An unfortunate distinction for Metro Vancouver. We're number 1 when it comes to evictions, according to new research from UBC. And he's looking to be the next prime minister. We'll hear from Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole, who joined us live on News 1130 this morning. And now it's time for sports, as it is 9:45 from Sportsnet 650, your home of the Canucks. Take it away, Caroline Frolick.
We're the home of the Canucks, but we are talking baseball because it is September and the Jays and Mariners are both playing meaningful baseball. I love saying that. The Blue Jays would beat the Rays 8-1. Former Vancouver Canadian Alek Manoah won for the first time since early August, snapping a 5-start winless streak. He walked none and struck out 10. That's one shy of his career best. And how about Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? Well, he hit his 45th home run. That's one more than his dad ever hit in a single season. Oh, and Jr. is 22. The Blue Jays won 12-13 and are a season-high 18 games above the 500 mark. Jays looking to win their 5th straight and send Jose Barrios to the mound tonight. Tampa counters with Drew Rasmussen, who made only one career appearance against the Jays back in July, allowing no runs and 2 innings of relief. In Seattle, big game with AL wildcard implications, and the Mariners take care of business, beating the Red Sox 5-4. As for the AL wildcard race, the Blue Jays are in sole possession of the top spot, a game up on the Yankees and the Red Sox. But actually, Boston trailed the Yankees by a single percentage point, if you want to get technical, and in this case we do, for the final AL playoff spot. So right now, Boston is on the outside looking in. Mariners still right in the thick of it, 2 games back. The A's 2.5. Now, according to reports this morning, Seattle is set to host the 2023 MLB All-Star Game and Home Run Derby. Now, the league will neither confirm nor deny said report, but according to Seattle baseball insiders, Commissioner Rob Manfred will be in the city on Thursday to announce the All-Star Game along with John Stanton, Mariners President of Business Operations Katie Griggs, Baseball Hall of Famers Ken Griffey Jr. and Edgar Martinez, and public officials from the city. So it's looking pretty good that the caravan of baseball fans may be getting a lot to look forward to in 2023 in Seattle. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/650.
News 1130 time 9:47. Looks like it's just starting to rain here at 8th and Ash in downtown Vancouver. We have a temperature of 14 degrees. Thanks for joining us. I'm Peter Wagner. Britain will begin offering a 3rd dose of COVID-19 vaccine after an expert panel said the boosters were needed to protect against weakening immunity this winter. Charles de Ledesma reports the decision comes despite a plea from the World Health Organization to delay booster shots until every country has vaccinated at least 40% of their populations.
The WHO Director General Tedros reiterated the call last week after an earlier appeal was widely ignored, saying he will not stay silent when companies and countries that control the global supply of vaccines think the world's poor should be satisfied with leftovers.
The British government is recommending healthcare workers and everyone over the age of 50 get a booster shot at least 6 months after they received their 2nd dose of vaccine. Closer to home, BC says about 15,000 people who are severely immunocompromised will be getting a 3rd dose soon. And in Yellowknife, every school there is closed starting today until at least next Friday. That direction from the top doctor in the Northwest Territories, which is battling the worst COVID-19 outbreak since the pandemic started. Public health workers say they can't keep up with contact tracing and testing. The capital's day shelter and sobering center have also closed after several staff members were infected. To the U.S. now, Tropical Storm Nicholas is moving slowly over southeast Texas after dumping more than 150 millimeters of rain on Houston. Mayor Sylvester Turner says the city prepared for the storm by setting up barricades at more than 40 locations to prevent flooding.
I'm only aware of one bayou where the water went outside, and that was Clear Creek. And other than that, the channels all held quite well.
The storm is expected to weaken into a tropical depression by the time it reaches southwest Louisiana tomorrow. 9:49 now at News 1130. As more remote workers transition back to the office, pandemic pets are adjusting to a new, lonelier reality.
Owners, you may have some worries about how your pups will adjust. I mean, many have had their people around pretty much all the time for about a year and a half. But an animal welfare expert at UBC says there are ways to prepare for that separation and hopefully avoid too much anxiety. Dr. Alexandra Protopopova says this could mean leaving your dog at home when you go shopping or on errands, with the ultimate goal of gradually increasing the periods of separation. You also might want to adjust the number of walks your pets get in a day to match your back-to-work schedule. Now, if the transition is more abrupt, you can also see if a neighbor can help out or maybe look into a dog walking service. And she says don't worry if you also suffer from separation anxiety. That's totally valid. Talk about it with someone to help you feel better. I'm Mike Lloyd.
Now, I can tell you a bit of a pro tip from somebody who owns a dog and has been worried about this. If you have a really cute dog, people will clamor over themselves to watch them. Just saying. 60 seconds away. Traffic and weather together on the ones.
On October 18th, News 1130 and City News come together to offer more ways to get what you need to know, whenever and wherever you need it. Learn more now at citynews1130.com.
Nobody does bacon like Wendy's. And right now, you can get a Wendy's Bacon Deluxe for just $4. It's a great rhyme and a better deal for 3 strips of thick-cut Applewood smoked bacon piled high on fresh, never-frozen, 100% Canadian beef, plus all your favorite toppings. Get your bacon fix before this deal is gone with a Wendy's Bacon Deluxe for just $4. At participating Wendy's until October 10th. Taxes extra.
Yeah? It's time for Volksfest at Volkswagen! You said when we can finance from 0% on select models, plus get a winter tire credit, or up to 3 years of prepaid maintenance, that we'd get a new German-engineered Tiguan or Jetta. I said that? Yeah. You also said the longer-than-average warranty meant that you'll probably teach me to drive it.
Okay, get in the car.
Really?
Yeah, we gotta get there before Volksfest ends on September 30th. Visit vw.ca. Volkswagen.
9:51, off to the traffic center we go. It's Ryan Littimar.
Peter, when we last spoke, talked about a collision in Delta, 99 northbound before Highway 17A. Still there, left lane blocked off and you're busy towards the Massey Tunnel. You can use Highway 91 Alex Fraser, way better option. We're hearing about a police incident in Surrey, 144th at 64th Avenue. Southbound 144th is blocked off. Any more details regarding that, let us know hands-free, star 1130. And in Langley Aldergrove area, still this collision, 264th north of 52nd. 264th is partially blocked there. It's a mess for northbound 264th right by the zoo. Traffic is brought to you by Kingmark Currency Exchange. Today, Kingmark Currency Exchange buys US 1.256, sells 1.276, buys euro 1.477, sells 1.527. Visit kingmark.ca for more. Let's check in again with the Penfolds Roofing and Solar Weather Center. Back to meteorologist Michael Coos.
The wet weather has arrived. It's going to be a soggy tail end of the morning and into the afternoon, too. Potentially, at least the early part of the afternoon drive will still be raining lightly. 15 degrees the daytime high, drops down to 11 overnight. Tomorrow clears out nicely through the afternoon, especially up to 17 degrees. It's a mainly sunny Thursday with a high of 18. We get back into the rain on Friday. Look for a high of 15 degrees. Saturday, we'll see some on-off rain with a high near 16. Currently, it's 14 degrees in Pitt Meadows, 14 in White Rock, and 14 at YVR. The daytime high around 15.
This update's brought to you by Michelin. Until the end of September, buy any Michelin tires for a chance to win back your purchase. Visit Michelin.ca, up to $1,500. No purchase necessary.
News 1130 Inside Scoop.
News 1130 and RBC present the 7
7th Annual An Evening in Damascus on Friday, October 1st at the Terminal City Club. Take a trip from Vancouver to Damascus and enjoy Syrian food, music, dance, and culture while raising funds for the Rainbow Refugee Society. Tickets are on sale now.
Get all the details at citynews1130.com.
9:53 now. Starting today, the U.S. Justice Department is making federal agents do things a little differently.
Attorney General Merrick Garland limited the use of chokeholds by federal officers. The one exception involves the officer believing he, she, or another person is facing the threat of serious injury or death because of the suspect's behavior. The Attorney General also limited the use of no-knock entries unless there are reasonable grounds to believe that knocking and announcing the agent's presence would create an imminent threat of physical violence. Garland said these new policies are meant to build trust between law enforcement and the public they serve. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
If you're looking for a job, your chances of finding one should hopefully start to improve toward the end of the year, especially as we hear from News 1130's Chris McCusker, if you've got some special skills.
The latest employment survey from Manpower Group shows Canadian employers expect a robust hiring pace over the next 3 months. With seasonal variations removed from the data, the net employment outlook for Canada is plus 40%. That's a 31 percentage point increase from the third quarter and a 35 percentage point increase from Q4 of last year. Employers in all 4 regions of the country and 9 industries expecting to add staff. Now, 59% of employers say they're having some difficulty filling jobs due to a lack of skilled talent. So in response, employers are offering a mix of incentives like flexible work schedules, increased wages, or training. I'm Chris McCusker.
And the Teamsters have filed for a unionization vote at the Amazon warehouse just south of Edmonton. The union says this is the first step in an organizing campaign designed to bring Amazon Canada to the bargaining table. Amazon has a history of snuffing out union efforts and just yesterday announced it was giving its Canadian workers a raise. Business news comes your way in 60 seconds.
This is Mike.
How you doing?
Mike is a middleman.
They call me Middle Mike.
Middle Mike is the quintessential go-between.
I'm a wheeler and a dealer.
At Spence Diamonds, we don't deal with Middle Mike.
Ouch, that hurts.
Nor do we deal with his wheeling or dealing.
Hey, now that's not nice.
That's because Spence Diamonds is a single-purpose diamond house, meaning we do our wholesale buying, importing, and manufacturing in-house, so there's never a need for layers of middlemen. That includes you, Middle Mike.
Now you're just being rude.
By eliminating the Middle Mike...
What am I, a now?
Spence Diamonds can source high-quality diamonds and made-to-order rings at a much more reasonable cost.
So I don't get no cut?
No cut for you, Middle Mike.
Well, this ain't going so good.
And speaking of cut, each diamond from Spence is guaranteed to have an exceptional cut and maximum brilliance for that long-lasting shimmering and glittering.
I'm getting out of here.
You were never here, Middle Mike.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Spence Diamonds. I do! Find us in Vancouver and Langley.
It's 9:56. Now to the business center. Here's Chris McCusker.
Muted inflation data out of the U.S. today showing a gain in August of 0.3%. The expectation was for a gain of 0.4%. Now, year over year, a spike of 5.3%, but that was down from 5.4% in June and July. So it does make one wonder if the higher prices have peaked. Doug Porter is chief economist at the Bank of Montreal.
It is possible that the yearly number, especially on the headline, is past the peak. But I don't think we can send the all-clear signal just yet. I mean, not when energy prices are still on the march here, and we've got a bit of a threat from food prices, and we know that home prices have been very strong and are likely to add to inflation. And the supply constraints, the supply challenges that we've seen globally have not gone away. And all those things present a real risk to inflation still.
Wall Street's been all over the place today. The Dow at one point was looking at a triple-digit advance. Now it's down by 220 points. The S&P off by 7, the NASDAQ down by 16. The TSX is lower by 35 points, 20,631. Shares in Tech Resources getting close to a 3-year high today on Bay Street, 32.57. Right now, that stock is up by 2.7%. The company is reportedly looking at selling or spinning off its coal business, and the move could value the business at $8 billion. Companies have been under pressure to cut back on fossil fuels. The price for gold right now up by $12, $18.06. Oil is now lower by 15 cents, $70.31. Hurricane Nicholas made landfall in the U.S. Gulf Coast overnight, where some refineries and producers are still closed after Hurricane Ida just a few weeks ago. And the Canadian dollar down by 1/10 of a cent, 78.97 cents U.S. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Traveling for an extended stay? With Premier Suites, you'll choose from over 1,300 spectacular condos and townhomes across Canada, where all our homes are insured, accredited, and professionally maintained by our team of regional experts. Book today and discover why we're Canada's largest and most trusted provider of fully furnished temporary residences for over 20 years.
Find out more at premiersuites.com. Premier Suites, all comfort, no sacrifices.
Adios.
Adios.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.
再见.
再见. During the Honda Clear-Out event, we're learning how to say goodbye to 2021 models before they're gone for good.
Finito?
Finito. With hot deals like a $1,000 Honda bonus on the Made in Canada CR-V and rates from 0.99% up to 72 months, our 2021 models won't last long. So hurry into the Honda Clear-Out event and get yours before they're gone.
Rapido.
Gracias. Visit bchonda.ca.
We'll get to the hour's top headlines in just about 30 seconds when my anchoring partner, Tim James, joins me again as I look out our great big windows here that look out at the corner of 8th and Ash. Seeing a lot more rain starting to fall today. And yes, that is going to be the weather story of the day. But our meteorologist, Michael Coos, is going to be back with us here in, I'd say about 2 minutes to give us a bit of a more detailed look at exactly what we can expect today and the sunset tonight, by the way. 7:28 p.m. The days are getting shorter. News 1130 is CKWX Vancouver. Ask for us on your smart speaker. Sonia Aslam is our producer this hour. News 1130 time, 10 o'clock.